Om, 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 Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Brahma Mirastriparan Takare, Banushashi Bhamisita, Budasha Gurusha Shukra, Shani Rahu Keteva, Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om Om Hrim Gurave Namaha, Om Hrim Shukraya Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Kozmickev 100. This is where we take the planets known as grahas, the houses known as babas, and the signs of the zodiac known as rishis and put them together. Now, this is mostly Western astrology, but I do try to turn you on to Vedic astrology because that's what we see in the sky. And in my 42 years of astrological experience, I'll have to say that for me, that's how I come up with the more accurate horoscopes for people, and I'm able to help people more because there's more remedies in Vedic astrology than there is in Western tropical astrology. And in the West, we tend to kind of separate the stars from the divine. And let me tell you right now that if it wasn't for the Creator, if it wasn't for Adonai, if it wasn't for Hashim, if it wasn't for God, we would not have any of this. And so you can believe whatever way you want to believe, but there is an intelligent design to you and to the universe, and I want to help people get more in alignment with that. And I want you to be able to subscribe to this. That helps me a lot. And like and continue giving me your comments, what you're experiencing lately. And so a lot of this relates to everyone. Some of it relates to just you personally. Most of this horoscope I do tropical sun sign because that's what most of you understand. But I will mention the Vedic stuff. So like right now we've got a moon in the constellation of Libra for Friday, and it's in the nakshatra or lunar mansion known as Vishaka. Vishaka means forked or branch. Vishaka is ruled by Jupiter. Vishaka also has elements of Venus in it because it's 3/4 Libra, and it also has an element of Mars in it because it's 1/4 Scorpio. And like I've said before, this is more astronomically correct. The Vedic, the Jyotish, which is sidereal. And this can teach you a lot. Now Vishaka means forked or branched. And one of the symbols is an oak tree or a fruit tree, because what happens is when we branch out too much on a fruit tree, I used to work on a peach farm, branches break and they have to be supported. And so there gets to be a point where we branch out and we really can't support everything we have to do. It's like parents that have a whole bunch of children and they're having a hard time supporting all their needs at once. It's another thing is that the universe sends us through a whirl. It's like in a circular motion. The potter's wheel is another symbol for Vishaka. And the thing is that to create a nice cup or bowl, you have to be centered. You have to have that thing right in the middle of the wheel. It's also like the merry-go-round when we're kids, you know. For those of you who are Gen X, baby boomers, we grew up with merry-go-rounds, not just the horse carousel, but ones that were in playgrounds. And this is before everybody started suing and becoming victims. A celebration of victim victory. You know, it's just like, oh God, please. It's not to say that victims don't deserve victory, but it's also showing ourselves reward for foolishness. You know, what happens is if you go to the end of this wheel, that centrifugal force is way greater on the merry-go-round, and the bigger kids would make it go as fast as they can to have you fall off it. And once you got a little older or wiser, you learned that if you stayed in the center of that merry-go-round, ooh, you would not be thrown off. And this is a really good parable for life in general is like, don't get too out there in extremes, folks. Try to stay in the center, and you won't be knocked off by life as easily, right? You know, and the center chakra of the 7 chakras is the heart. Stay in the heart, you know. That's why people invite Yeshua into their heart, is because it's giving the divine control, the infinite, compassionate Savior control of your heart. And that's pretty hard because we're kind of like, we've got a lot of desires that have no bottoms. Jupiter, the ruling planet of Vishaka, says, you know, you have to return to the spiritual. Now, I've heard some astrologers say that the Libra part's ruled by Indra, god of gods. Of course, though, Indra also rules Jyeshta, which is all Scorpio. So I'm not so sure about that. But Indra is a god of gods, never gives up in a fight, loves sensual pleasures, food, sex, drink, things like that. And these are hard things to control, you know, as we're trying to branch out in our life. We want to have a good time, and it's a temptation. And, you know, I'll have to go to the words of Oscar Wilde that, you know, I can resist anything except temptation. But when we get help from the big boss, or in Chinese, one of the words for God is the resident boss. I thought, that's kind of cool. Cool expression. When we listen to the resident boss, we'll overcome our desires to have inappropriate sexual relations, inappropriate harm to our body through drinking, smoking, or whatever, overeating, all these sensual pleasures. And then we were able to do things. But there's one really positive symbol for Vishaka, which is a triumphant gateway. It's through our expansion of knowledge and trying to get into spiritual truth. And the other ruling deity, of course, is Agni, the god of fire, kind of symbolic of the Holy Spirit and purification. Stay in the light, folks, you know, and you will gain this wisdom. Vishaka is the point where we realize that a desire that has no bottom leads to frustration and destruction. But a soul that focuses on the light and realizes that all is vain without that light and generosity of God. Okay. So Vishaka for this Friday. Venus ruled mostly in Libra today until late tonight when it goes into Scorpio. And so, you know, it's appropriate for a Venus day. It's a powerful one. We want that love. We want that movement in our life. Anyhow, I'm going to go, you know, in Western astrology, the moon is in Scorpio. And Western astrology is based on seasons. It's based where constellations were in 150 AD. That's a long time ago, folks. They've moved back 24 degrees from that point. And so it's okay. I mean, I understand identifying with your sun sign. In Vedic astrology, we identify by our rising signs. In Western astrology, my rising sign is Virgo. In Vedic astrology, my rising sign is Leo. And so I'm a sun, but in Vedic astrology, my sun is in Libra. So I'm like in Vishaka. And they call that debilitated because that's where the sun's going down. But any planet that's debilitated, like this week, Mercury is debilitated in Pisces because Mercury is exalted in Virgo. And there's special abilities with debilitated planets. Albert Einstein had a debilitated Mercury, believe it or not, and yet he was considered to be the smartest man in the world, or maybe one of the smartest people who's ever lived. So there's special conditions that can remedy things that aren't working that well for us. And so for more, contact me in my comments, send me a message. I love hearing from you. And once again, subscribe, share, hit the bell notification. These are all good things. I do personal readings, I take Venmo, I take Zelle, and you know, I accept checks, all kinds of stuff, you know. Anything that's good, we can work something out. Well, greetings Aries, welcome to your horoscope. So in Western astrology, Aries is Mars ruled, Scorpio is too. Of course, you add the Pluto transformation quality to Scorpio. And the 8th house now. A lot of transformation happening. Currently, Mars is in Aquarius in the seasonal sign, and it's in Capricorn in the Vedic, but which is actually exalted Mars. But anyhow, this is in your social life for most of you. And so there's a real push to make good connections. If you're an Aries involved in sales, this will probably, you'll be reaping some more money, some financial gains at this time. And because the sun's in Pisces right now, and so is Neptune and Saturn and Mercury, you've got a lot of karma. Keep a dream journal. Pay attention to your dreams. Your dreams are trying to tell you something right now. Listen to them. Work with them. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. And one thing about these horoscopes, too, if you're a Taurus rising, it's especially accurate for you. If you're a Taurus moon, it also has a lot of accuracy. If you're a Taurus sun, yeah, it has some accuracy. But I would say the rising and then the moon. That's how I gauge it. Rising, moon, then sun sign. So, greeting, and a lot of you watching this, you don't know your rising sun or your moon sign. They're pretty easy to find out, though, if you know the time you're born. And it's good to know these things. Know when we came, know where we're going, know when we have to be someplace. So greetings, Taurus, welcome to your horoscope. Venus is in Aquarius, and so this is your midheaven. This is how you work. This is how you help other people. This is going to continue to be like that. It's like you're going to create more beauty at your workplace. And there's just an opportunity for you to express love to your coworkers and express more love and what gifts you have to share with other people. Pisces time for Taurus is about the social life. And your social life is full. There's all these events and things you want to go to and be a part of. It's important to pay attention to them, but they're not all going to be like, oh, bliss. In a way, if you are helping other people in your social circle, this is going to reap incredible rewards and make really good karma for you. Now, greetings, Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope. So this is sort of an interesting time. So Mercury's not retrograde, but Mercury is debilitated in Gemini, and it's in the workplace. So one thing as a Gemini, I would be thinking to myself, which I am on my D9 Vedic chart, I'm a Gemini Navamsa. So, and I'm also a third house Lagnisha. I've got lots of stuff in the third house in both Vedic and Western astrology. And the third house is also kind of like a Gemini house. But what we're looking at now is with Mercury debilitated in Pisces, it's like communication in the workplace may not be very direct, it may not be accurate, it can be diluted, it can be somewhat skewed, and it's important to get things in writing. It's important to get things really clear. So clarify what you're doing. Make it clear. And make your goals clear. And this is going to bring a lot more help. If you're handicapped and you're mute and you can't speak, well, then you have to become a better writer. And if you can't speak and you can't write, well, you learn hand signals, and there'll be other ways to help with this. But things are more intense in the realm of work and your karma with the public. Greetings, Cancer, and welcome to your horoscope. Pisces time is a great time for Cancer. In fact, this is your luckiest time of year. This is when a lot of good fortune happens. This is the best time of year for you to travel. If it was long distance travel, this is the best time of year to do studies, to do education. This is the best time of year for you to connect with your father or resolve your relationship with your father, because the ninth house also rules the father. And teachers you've had problems with or haven't in the past, this is the best time to resolve that. And I think one of the things that really hurts us in our world is we feel disconnected. When we go back to like the lockdown, the pandemic, there was intentional government disconnection of people, and something most people would agree or think that was to keep people safe. But as evidence is rolling out, there was something really sinister going on behind all of that as other powers take control. And usually that's how legacy media works. It's like, look over here, while we do something else in the background. And if you don't understand this, it'll be much easier for you to be fooled by groupthink. And it can be really dangerous, especially in these times, as there's rollouts and new laws being passed to take away all your wealth. And that's pretty scary. But we as people are more powerful than that, and we could all get together and make things work. Now, the moon in Scorpio, sun in Pisces is a beautiful thing. You know, it's like your heart is full. You, Cancer, are able to do some of the greatest things, especially on Friday. And even as we go through the week, you're very supported at this time. And if you don't feel supported, reach out and get that support you need to get things done. All right, greetings Leo, welcome to your horoscope. So we've got this Venus and Mars in your 7th house. So there's a part of you that's kind of focused on love and your love life and what that means to you. And then we have the Sun and Saturn and Neptune and Mercury in the 8th house. Now, just like I said to Aries, I say pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your intuition. This is also a time for Leos not to think of themselves as the boss lady or the boss man. It's a time to give some power to other people and respect them. This is a time when you'd be likely to be managing other people's resources. And so you've got to be as responsible for them as you would be for yourself with your resources, if not more so. So it's sort of a heavy time. Saturn in the 8th house is kind of a depressing time often. Moon in Scorpio, it'll get you in touch with your feelings, that's for sure. And then the weekend looks nice because the moon will be in Sagittarius, and so there's like an element of play and being with your kids. But we got to look at this. You know, outside of you know, the moon, and then of course the South Node being in Libra in Western astrology, you know, there's a lot of open space, you know, and these planets are gathering a lot of attention with your relationships and with your career life. Well, greetings Virgo, and welcome to your horoscope. In a lot of ways, Virgo, you are the elixir and the answer to all this Piscean energy. It is to be able to have logic, critical analysis, to help women, to help anyone who's handicapped, sick, or less fortunate. These are the answers for these times. These are the ways to make good karma. Now, relationships are everything in Pisces time. You know, you are the opposite of Pisces. Pisces rules your 7th house. So everything's moving in relationships. As far as work goes, you know, bring a little bit of love into your work environment. Show that you are intelligent and can communicate well. Even with a debilitated Mercury, you're providing a balance and say, okay, so let's back up and look at this. You know, you're giving that reflection, that other perspective. And people really need reflection right now, because without a vision, the people will perish. And without a good reflection, but your overall, you know, Uranus and Jupiter are somewhat inspiring you, and there's some surprise gifts coming your way, and I'm so grateful for you, and thank you for all the help you've given me. Next, greetings Libra, welcome to your horoscope. Well, I mean, the relationship thing is about desire, and sometimes you're in a relationship where you don't know where you stand. I definitely see this a lot in the different communication styles of men and women. And yeah, I mean, I know there's this recent concept that there's a whole bunch of other genders, but most everything is based on light and dark, masculine and feminine. It really is. Gravity, weightlessness, you know, these are things we know about. Solids, gas, and liquid. There's things that we know about, and we're all a blend. Every one of us is a blend of all of both genders and of all kinds of things. And so I guess supposedly that leads to various language to identify different situations. And if it's helpful, that's great. We all need help. If it leads to doing things that might possibly be harmful to your body, and there's kind of this thing weighing out, that gets a little tricky. That type of thing gets tricky. Anyhow, communication is at the workplace. There's a lot of things about having to work hard, about having to watch your health. Moon in Scorpio could give you some money. The weekend looks like communication with the neighbors, your siblings, people you know. And let's talk about Venus. Venus is in the 5th house still in Aquarius, so that should inspire great love. We all need that sense of great love. And Venus won't move into Pisces until next week. Next week we have a lot of shifts. But this week, we're in the waning moon. We're just kind of winding things down. Well, greetings, Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope. You should be getting a lot of inspiration from your partnership right now, if you're in a partnership. And if you're not, one could just come on by a surprise. There's connections with people are so interesting that way, especially when it comes to romance and things like that. And let's talk about where Mars is. So Mars is in the 4th house. So it's like working on your house, working on being home, working on being happy with your home, happy with your domestic environment, fixing it up. Reflections on your mother. I think that's huge. And if you have a mom, she's still there for you. I'd say try and connect in the most positive way. Supporting the mother is supporting life. And we're in a time and place where people feel threatened by life. They feel threatened enough by life that they would destroy it before it could even emerge. And it's sad to me. I understand it. But let's take the reality of it. When they say overpopulation, they're talking about mostly people that are under 20 years old that will probably not live much longer than that. It's lots of babies in developing countries that aren't getting practical medical needs met. Mothers not getting their practical needs met. Fathers not being involved enough or empowered enough to supply a good income to support their children. These things are things we have to look at, and we want the human race to survive. But overall, even though there's a lot of difficulties maybe with your children or with your love life or your creative life, everything seems kind of slow, maybe stuck. If you pray over it, say, God, I need some help with this. In my weakness, His strength is made perfect. Be there for the miracles. If you don't feel like your prayer is enough, pray with somebody else. Lift each other up in prayer. Make life a better thing for everyone. Greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. Well, this weekend's made for Sagittarius. The moon's going to be in Sagittarius on Saturday and Sunday, so you're going to, feel a little bit of upliftment. Pisces is a Jupiter-ruled sign. You're a Jupiter-ruled sign. Jupiter is in your 6th house, so with Uranus. So working on your health, exercising, eating right. Eating right on the most general basic thing is eating lots of fruits and vegetables. Now, there's some vegetables that can be poisonous to humans, and some people have a hard time with things with oxalates. Some people have a hard time with things that are nightshades. So there's not a one-size-fits-all diet. Some people seem to do very well or really healthy eating meat. Some people are healthy eating dairy if it's raw dairy or cultured dairy. When they start homogenizing and ultra-pasteurizing things get a little bit wonky in the dairy world. Also, animals that are caged up and mistreated, they do not produce good milk. They do not produce good food for you. I would avoid that. And being vegetarian is a simple way of dealing with that. But then again, I don't think everyone is necessarily healthy on that diet. It doesn't work for everyone, from what I've observed. I might be wrong, and there's very militant vegans out there. Oh, God help us. Yeah. But the reality is, you're not going to make your cat a vegan. Oh, well. Greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. Your opposite Cancer. Pisces is sort of about your siblings, it's about your friends, it's about the way you communicate. And since Mercury is debilitated in Pisces, a lot of Capricorns are kind of quiet. They're not always super direct. I mean, my one Capricorn astrology friend, she's a really good communicator overall. Eileen Mello, she does pretty good with this stuff. And she's also a Vedic Capricorn too, so I don't know if this, on the sun level, if this horoscope would even match her. But what I would see here, but this is a Western horoscope, so we'll look at it that way. Make some poems, folks. Write some songs. Write some letters to people. Instead of emails and text message, put your own hand on it. Give some love. Create a card, create some nice, beautiful artwork and send it to somebody. That is, the way. That would be a very Piscean in the third house way to stimulate some more healing, help you reach goals, help you influence people and win friends. I think that's the good news for you. All right. Greetings, Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope. I mean, everything is involving your personal life right now. There's really not a lot. There's a lot of space for you to give to other people. But that's not really what the main influence is right now. Now, the weekend after this, we'll get towards the moon being in your sign, your sun sign, by Thursday, Friday, as we go into the week. And you'll feel some sense of upliftment, even though it's a waning moon. The moon's kind of disappearing. But there can be this resurgence of life and health given back to you from this. So I would highly recommend and consider that right now. Venus and Mars in the first house makes you look good. Moon in Scorpio today, going to be in Sagittarius over the weekend. Lots of parties, lots of social gatherings, lots of get-togethers. A lot of transformation in your life, especially if you're a January born Aquarius. Pluto's there. So you should be getting insights. There could be changes. And you might have to give something up in order to get something even better in your life. And money, and family are the second house emphasis. Also things involving the neck, the throat, lower face. Those are all influenced by the second house. So that could be a big thing in your life right now as well. Yeah. But yeah, the money's coming. And greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, this is like the older person, more serious kind of Pisces with Saturn in Pisces right now. Be aware of communication and your thoughts. Try to be specific rather than trying to be nice. Try not to gloss over things. Try not to generalize. That is, probably one of the biggest problems of Pisces is not being specific and just sort of making things sort of murky and muddled. Murky and muddled doesn't make you seem smart, okay? It just makes you seem like, I don't know what they just said. What does that really mean, And if you want to keep people in a state of wondering, and that's your power, that's your superpower, well, great, you go ahead, find that. But if you want specific things in your life, you have to be specific about what you're asking for. And this is an empowered time for you because the sun's in Pisces. And moon in Scorpio on Friday, another empowered time because moon's in your ninth house. So there's a lot of luck and good fortune involved with that. And the weekend looks like I'd pay attention to my work environment. And as we go into Monday and Tuesday, that's where I'd be looking at communication. That's where I would be seeing, making connections too with siblings. If you have siblings, connect with them, reach out, and find more ways to have love, and that, guard yourself against money making scams because of the North Node being in the second house. It's like you've got desires, but just work with everything patiently. You people have been patient with me, and I appreciate you so much. Greetings to my Pisces friend, and to Shannon, and to Melissa, and to Word, and all my faithful followers. I love you. I care about you. Don't forget to subscribe, share, hit the like, bell notification. I love your comments. Keep them coming. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Tat Sat.